The other day I was talking to a friend of mine and Don said, when I play the changes, it always feels like I'm kind of starting on a chord tone and just kind of connecting the arpeggios from there. Do you have any advice for maybe how to break out of that pattern? My reply was this: make arrangements, as in look for the melody inside those changes. I think it's more fun than connecting arpeggios, and it works the same muscles. I'm Eric Haugen. Check the description box below for tabs and backing tracks on my website, information about exactly what sound tools I'm using today, live streams, and more on Patreon, and my deep dive courses. It's all on my website. It's a two-step process. Step one, find the triads or the cage shapes, whatever you want to call them. It's kind of just the same thing. It's dude, where's my chord? On 3-string groupings. You could either go on like the high, the G, the B, and the E. I like to start with the D, the G, and the B. There's a G chord. All right, the next chord in the song is a D. There's a D. Here's E minor. And then here's a C. Yeah, that's the old axis of awesome. Yeah. And then you got your G, a D, a C, back to G. And that's, a useful thing. Sure, you could walk those if you needed to, but the next step that I say to do is to find the melody. Now, I know that can be intimidating or kind of scary if you haven't done it before, so here's some advice about that. The melody is almost always going to be from the key of the song. In the case of G, that does mean, let's see, where's our G major pentatonic? And then sometimes, it's going to be from the full major scale or minor scale of the song. So let's see, where's full G major? You have that information. And then you have to be very patient and think of, just give yourself all the time that you need to find maybe where that melody is. It doesn't have to be exactly right, because you're just using it to give you information about different ways to move your fingers around other than, everything's going to sound just kind of plinkety-plinkety. So let's see, what is the melody? There it is, and then very simply, that's not exactly it, but pretty much it. And then this is kind of neat. Mick hits a note that's not in the key. There it is. Here, I could put the Boss OD3 back on. Maybe do a bend here. So that already gives me completely different ways of kind of connecting those changes that doesn't feel like arpeggio, 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 arpeggio. And of course, the next question you might have is, cool, how do I do something that doesn't sound like I'm aping the melody? So here's that. So for that time around, I knew that the song, ba ba ba, da da da. I was like, okay, well, what if the phrase definitely does not start the way the other phrase starts? And once you have a different starting phrase, all you gotta do is grab it and just follow it, see where it leads. So we had, what did I do? So kind of a derivative of a B.B. King thing, because here's a G. Here's our major pentatonic. That's the B.B. King lick. That is, I'm thinking about this D chord here. Again, that D chord. There's my E minor. There's a C chord. And again, putting a little kind of bend on it. What did I do? Oh, then I did like a Robbie Robertson walk up. That's a pedal steel thing. Here's a D chord. And then a little crossover into blues. Here comes a G. And then the D. Because that C going up to that D. But then I also realized, oh cool, I'm kind of in blues now. Now I picked those changes because it doesn't leave the key, it's nice and slow, you got plenty of time on each chord. That's a very approachable, easy one to deal with. Honestly, you don't really need to play the changes over the top of that one, and I would not even recommend it. To me, the most important thing is a good, memorable melody. But okay, let's pick a song now that forces us to play the changes, as in, it's going to have chords in it that aren't exactly from the key, and when a chord is not really in the key, you can't just wail the key over the top of it. You have to kind of tag those special notes. I always like to point to yacht rock, soft rock as cool stuff to work on to kind of get new chords on your fingers. That's not all the way jazz, but it does some jazzy things. So the changes are A minor, again, same thing. I am looking for those chords, not the big way, on the D, the G, and the B string. A minor, E, and this is interesting, a G sharp, C sharp minor. And I'm like, yeah, that's about the vocal range. Can I find roughly the vocal melody? Now, same thing, what happens if I take that information, kind of garble it up in my mind, and then do a little solo over it? Now the same thing, I wanted to make sure I didn't hit a note right on the downbeat, and so my first phrase, again, I always believe in whatever your first idea is, just grab it. There's an A chord. Let's see, where's A major? So I actually am on the major 7. So on that A minor, I'm gonna make it into an A minor 7. Because again, it left the key right there. So while you're on that chord, you're like, all right, well, I'll treat it like it's an A minor. That's a neat lick. So I'm on the E, I'm seeing this E chord here, and I'm like, Now we're on the G sharp. There it is, there's the little G sharp. So it went E, and then up to this E, which isn't really a cool note to do on a G sharp major chord normally, but I'm shoehorning in, and this is one of the, I don't have all the licks in the world, but this is like a Wes Montgomery, Mark Ribot lick that fits on any minor chord, because we're landing on a C sharp minor chord here. That's what I did there. That's, again, it's cool to have a handful of pet licks. This is definitely one of them. If you've watched my videos, thank you. And you've seen me do this lick before. So yeah, it's basically spelling out like a minor 9 chord on that C sharp minor. I can't remember the phrasing now. That's what I did, yeah. Now I'm on that A chord again. So I can see that the A chord's right here. Now actually goes to a B, and then both those songs are power ballads from different eras, and yeah, those are easier to work on because you got time to think, you got time to process. Melody becomes even more important when the song is faster because you really won't have time to put all the arpeggio tones in there. You won't be able to shoehorn stuff in, so you got to really rely on your ear for melody. Let's pull up a faster song. Dude, where's my chord on, the D, the G, and the B string? Let's see, we got an F sharp, we got a G, we got an F sharp, and then it changes the chords every 2 beats. E minor, A, D, B minor, A, B minor, and then boy, I'm up here, where's an F sharp? There it is, and then a G. So this shape is actually like, if you don't know this one, yeah, I guess that shape shows up a lot. And then the kind of awesome turnaround. And the walk down is actually, okay, what did I do? So for this little solo, I'm kind of just doing whatever works, whatever melody I can grab. So we're starting on the F sharp. We just landed on a G. Okay, that was a cool idea. Repeat your idea. Don't give up on it. Here comes the E minor. So that's me grabbing the piece of the melody. The piece of the melody actually does wrap around the A chord. That's the melody, but then also I can see the D chord. It's a B minor. I did successfully shoehorn in a A chord. So I hit that note. B minor. That's my third. That was the tough one to find. You gotta be looking out for that F sharp that's coming at you. Now you hit that one note. You might be able to get those. Let's just do that one of this F sharp. Now, no time left. Where's the G? G's right here. Cool double stop also happens to be the melody. The thing. And then I just did a harmonization of the line, right? Because the line is, so I guess I'm a fifth. Okay, kind of cool. So real talk, I don't like practicing playing to changes, but I do love songs and melodies, so that's why I tell people to do things this way. Any teacher is just going to tell you to do what they like. I do think that working on things this way is more intuitive and fun as opposed to kind of academic and shreddy. So I don't know. I hope that's helpful. Hey, by the way, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. That costs you nothing, and it helps me out a lot when people do that. One more time. How my business works. Patreon is where there's live Q&A seminars, every backing track I've ever made and ever will make. I update that every week. And I also make comprehensive deep dive courses. You can check it all out on my website. As Bill and Ted would say, be excellent to each other. Happy Friday. Eat pizza.